Welcome. Welcome. Woo! Welcome. 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 Lady Rose Queendom. Gather round, tell a friend. Oh. Everybody sing. Oh. Welcome to Lady Rose Queendom, where we nurture, cultivate, and awaken your inner queen. Clap your hands, stomp your feet. Welcome to Lady Rose Queendom. Oh, Lady Rose Queendom. Well, Lady Rose Queendom. Lady Rose Queendom. Come on, Lady Rose Queendom. Lady Rose Queendom. Lady Rose. Lady Rose. Lady Rose. Your crown is waiting.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Lady Rose Queendom. We are down here to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta again. Child, yesterday some stuff came out in the news, and we're gonna talk about that as well as talk about Andy and Shamia and Gerald and Porsha and the thick of it all and what all they got going on, because they got some stuff going on as well. But child, we're gonna talk about it. Let's get some pleasantries out of the way. Wrong one, child. I don't know what that is and why it's up there. But that ain't what we're looking for. Give me a second. Let me pull up something. I've had a great time just kind of combing through some videos to find some things that where Shamia has said over the years that Gerald did not want to film. So it's not really far-fetched that Gerald actually would not sign off for them to film in his home. I can't remember at any time when Real Housewives of Atlanta, when she was a friend of, that they filmed in their home. I may be wrong, but y'all could correct me if I am, but I don't remember ever a time, good evening Symmetry, that the ladies were at Real Housewives of Atlanta and that they filmed in Shamia's house. I don't remember that. So that's why I say y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember ever there being a time of that. Let's get into this disclaimer. All things are alleged, in my opinion, and they're all for entertainment purposes. Please like the video. Please comment in the comment section. I love a healthy dialogue and some good engagement. Please share the live. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and tap that notification bell if you want to know when I'm going live from here on out. And welcome to Lady Rose Queendom, where we nurture, cultivate, and awaken your inner queen. Let's get into the commentary. So on this past week, actually I believe it was, child, don't give me the line, so I ain't gonna say what day it was. I'm not gonna try to figure it out. But one day this week, Andy Cohen took to his radio show on Sirius XM, and he actually talked about the Real Housewives Ultimate a girls trip. It was actually, they did a party for it. So after the party, he actually talked on his radio show about it the following morning. I got the dibs because I am an XM radio subscriber. So let's listen to it for a moment. I'm going to put up an overlay because we don't want no problems. Let's go. And let's share the screen. And hopefully it'll play. I hope it'll play. Shout out to Sirius XM Radio. This is Andy Cohen. He's talking about several things. He talks about his boyfriend not coming to the party, and he really wanted him to come. And he said people were saying he was hiding him. He said he's not hiding him. He just didn't want to show up. So here we go. This is where I actually stopped it to play for us.
Euchre was there, Stacey Rush. It was really a nice group, and just good vibes. And I have to say, Shamia was there, and Porsha. And
I want y'all to pay close attention to what he's saying. He said Shamia was there. He's talking about the people who were at the party. Shamia was there. uh Porsha was there, and he said they kept their distance from each other.
His husband, and so they kind of stayed clear of each other, but there were, it was all very calm, and it was funny. I was talking to Shamia and her husband.
So they stayed very calm. You heard him say they stayed very calm because they stayed far away from each other. He said, but then I was talking to Shamia and her husband, Gerald. He also says this is the first time he has met Gerald, although Gerald and Shamia got married in 2017, which is 9 years ago. So he's just now getting a chance to meet Gerald.
And there's been so much talk about Porsha. The narrative has been that Porsha didn't want Shamia to come on as a housewife.
So I took this to say that Shamia has been talking a lot about Porsha not wanting her on the show, when in actuality it was something totally different.
But I was saying to Shamia and Gerald, I said, Shamia, something that's not been discussed much, which to me was always the big barrier of you joining the show, was that
he's telling Shamia, hey, you should have been talking about what actually was happening and not Porsha, because Porsha really didn't have anything to do with it. But let's keep going. I'm stopping it because of copyright issues.
Gerald wanted nothing to do with it, and he didn't.
He said Gerald wanted nothing to do with it. So he actually is verifying what Shamia said. Gerald did not want to film. She's gone on several podcasts. Candy. Gerald did not want to film. Breakfast Club. Gerald did not want to film. Again, several different interviews saying Gerald did not want to film. But keep listening.
What you shooting at your house, Sterling?
He didn't want you shooting at your house, Sterling Hall.
And that was the case also.
And that was the case also. Y'all heard that, right? I know a lot of people have been playing semantics, but we're going to go with exactly what he said. Gerald didn't want them filming at your house. And that was the case also. No, so ain't no denying it. And that's what you should have been talking about and using as a storyline instead of going after Porsha.
That was part of the real story about why Shamia.
That was part of the real story. The real story. All right.
Was not a housewife sooner. And I was saying to Gerald, I said, when you show up, it's really great. And it was nice. I never met him. The HVAC king. The HVAC king. Now,
he never met him. This is the HVAC king. He said, but he didn't want them filming at his home. Now, you correct me if you ever saw the women filming at Shamia's home when Shamia was a friend of. Y'all correct me in the chat if y'all ever remember there being an event at Shamia's home when she was a friend of.
Vicky, who I will be.
Okay, so he's done with his part. He's done talking about it. This is shout out to Andy Radio on Sirius XM. Symmetry said everyone's asking why Porsha commented. Well, this is why Andy brought her up. Exactly. That is why she decided to comment, was because Andy said Porsha was there. So Porsha's like, okay, my name's out here. We got to discuss this. So with doing so, I actually went through, I didn't pull up a whole bunch, but I pulled up enough because I want y'all to hear how Shamia has gone from interview to interview saying that Gerald did not want to film. Let's go. Because Andy didn't say anything differently than what Shamia has said.
We see him on.
This is her on New York Living. This is a show that comes on New York Living. Here we go.
Oh, yes. Did I read that he tried to pay you to not be? No. So the checks are always clear. Like, he's always going to cut a check. He's amazing. Like, what's his is mine. What's mine is mine. But also.
So they asked her, did Gerald offer to pay her to keep her from filming? And she said, no, he didn't do that. She pretty much said he was very supportive. Oh, come on now, play.
Really, he's always had to pin it. If you want to do this, babe, you go for it. But that's not something that I want to do. He's always shied away from the camera. And he's like, I'll hold the camera, I'll take the photos, or I'll do the video for you, I'll support you in this, but I don't want to be a part of it. And even with the kids, he's like, yeah, you film with them, you do what you need to do, but I don't want to do it. But this year, he's like, I'm like, come on. He's like begrudgingly like, all right. Sometimes it was so crazy because the cameras would be on him and he'd be like, hi. And I'm like, stop.
So she said that the lady said they've seen Gerald more this season than ever. And he's awkward. If you see him on camera, he's awkward on camera. And Shamia says that when they would be filming, sometimes he would be speaking to the cameraman, telling them hi.
Don't look at the camera. They're like, all right, well, thanks, Gerald. Okay,
I'm just going to say, hold on, this is my better side.
No, he'd be like, and then I'd be like, all right, babe, I'm just going to get packed. He's like, okay, bye. I'm like, you did it again.
So just really awkward. And you could tell the way he hugged the surrogate last week that he really is just, he's camera shy. He doesn't want to be on camera, and it's awkward to him. So he tries to stay away from the camera as much as possible.
It's charming. It becomes part of his personality, though. It's nice.
Exactly.
It's real.
So no, I appreciate him just trying to navigate this foreign space. For me, he's not, like I said, a camera guy. So he's really doing it there. He's doing a lot better this year.
So there we have it. He didn't want to film. That was on one. I got another one. This is on Angela Yee's channel. Let's go. Let's see if I can switch it over to this next one. I pulled off several. Is that it? No. Here we go. This is Angela Yee's.
I want to clear this up. A lot of people said, okay, you know, she can navigate a beach. I always got offered, but my husband wouldn't do it. He was like, I'm not interested, but he was always.
Did y'all hear that? I always got offered, but my husband wouldn't do it. We stayed consistent. But we got in front of the camera and said it was Porsha. Porsha didn't want me to have a peach. Not that I always got offered, but my husband wouldn't do it. Is Andy lying? Y'all determine. Y'all decide whether or not you believe Andy's lying. Let's go.
Always supportive of me. He was always like, babe, you do it. You do it with Shia. Then Shiloh came along. You and Shiloh and Shia do it. All of y'all do it. Film at the houses when the cameras come. I'ma leave. So he was always.
She said film at the house. That's what she said. Right? As a friend of. But somebody tell me if you ever saw any filming at the house as a friend of, at Shabia's house, as a friend of, and they've owned Sterling Hall since 2022. Let me know.
He's very adamant about can't even be home. Like, I don't want. House is big enough. He can just go somewhere else. He's like, I don't want to be in the spotlight. Right? He shies away from the camera, even actually at home. Like everybody's spotlight, he's like, laying back. So that's not his thing. But they wouldn't allow me to have a peach without him. Okay, they were like,
did y'all hear that? They wouldn't allow me to have a peach without him. So was Andy lying? Look, this is what she told Angela Yee. Let's keep going.
It's all or nothing. Right. So much stuff.
All or nothing. All or nothing. Andy just met Gerald.
Where even this season when they came to do like the final, like, okay, we're going to do like a test screen with you on, camera. Gerald was supposed to be there. We were supposed to be playing this big game as a family. We practiced it the night before. Baby, he was like a runaway bride. The camera pulled up in the yard. He was pulling out the side gate. I was like, I want to clear this up.
So I'm still trying to figure out how Porsha ended up being the one that we blame, when in all actuality, you keep telling us Gerald didn't want to film. Gerald didn't want to film. It was all or nothing. Gerald, I got more. Symmetry said not once, not even before moving to Sterling Hall. Thank you. I have never seen Shamia film in her home. And I'm not saying it's bad or it's good. I'm just saying, let's be real. Let's keep it real. There was no reason for her to make Porsha her storyline, thus making Shamia kind of boring and lame. I'm going to tell you something. When Shamia came on this show, I really was excited for Shamia because I like Shamia. Hey, best friends. I love it. I watched her journey with her daughter, prayed for her daughter, remembered all of the things was going on when Shiloh was born, and watching Shamia on TV as a friend of, and I thought she was great. She was a great sidekick to Porsha, but Shamea, I think, needs to have a sidekick. I don't think she can handle it by herself without a sidekick. Good evening, Living for Me. Thanks for joining the live. I got another one, y'all, that I found too, of Shamea actually talking to, where is this one? Child, she's on another interview, baby. But not, this may be Watch What's Happening Live. I can't really tell what this is, what this interview is, but let's listen to it, y'all.
So this, they came, they were like, okay, we're gonna come over and just do a test shoot, you, your husband, your kids.
Right.
After they got there, he saw them cameras go up. I started getting my kid like, who mic you next? We looked out the window. Gerald was pulling out the driveway.
He did.
And they were like, well, we're already here. We might as well just.
I'm sorry, this is our interview with Ricky Smiley, right? So consistently, she has said and has told us that Gerald does not want to film. So where did Andy lie at, or where was Andy misspeaking? I don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. Hey, Deborah. Hey, happy Saturday. How are you? Hope you're having a great Saturday. So, let me move my Lady RHOA After Dark down, and I want to show you what happened this week on the interwebs. Child, they was out here showing out, just showing out. And it started with this one. Shamia posted, my husband has never had a problem with me. Well, let me go back. No Chaser TV, shout out to them. They posted a sound clip from the Sirius XM Andy radio of Andy, what I just played for you earlier, of Andy saying that, you know, the real reason why Shamia did not have a peach sooner was because Gerald did not want to film, and he did not want to film in his house. Now, mind you, when I actually asked ChatGPT, is there legals for filming in a home? And of course, ChatGPT said yes, there has to be sign-offs, NDAs signed. Production has to go through and make sure they have permission to film in your home. So it really isn't far from a brain or just a common thought that Gerald actually did not want them filming in his new home when they moved into 2022, right? 2023 or whatever years that Shamia wanted to be on the show. But I'm going to tell you this again. We've never seen an event until Shamia came on as a full-time housewife at Shamia's home. When she was a friend of, there were no events held at her house. But anyway, so No Chaser posted that sound bit from Andy Radio, Sirius XM, and Shamia responded. She said, my husband has never had a problem with me filming at our home or with our children. Andy never said that. Andy said, and I repeat, your husband did not want to film, and he did not want to film them filming in Sterling Hall. He never said that your husband had a problem with you filming or with your children. She said he just never wanted to be on the show. I believe that's what Andy said. But baby, Porsha entered the chat right behind her. And Porsha said, now you're implying Andy is lying for the second time. First, Andy already confirmed that I tried for years to get you on Real Housewives of Atlanta as a full-time housewife. Now, I showed y'all last week where in season 16, episode 10, Shamia sitting down with the ladies say, hey, Porsha, you did show the receipts where you had me on a list of housewives that you recommended to Bravo. But let's go on back. She said, first, Andy already confirmed that I tried for years to get you on Real Housewives of Atlanta as a full-time housewife. Second, Andy is saying that the real reason, which hasn't been discussed until now, is that Gerald didn't want you filming in the home. Yet here you are saying that Andy is lying again, girl. You are the liar. Steady stirring false narratives. Shaking my head. Baby, Porsha was pulling out all the emojis. She got the lying emoji and so on and so forth. Well, guess what? That wasn't enough, honey. That wasn't enough. Gerald had to come out here. He had to put his 2 cents in. If you ask me, If you ask me, ain't nobody asked me, but if you asked me, I would say that Shamia may have wrote this for Gerald. But child, who am I? Who is I to judge? There's nobody to judge. Anyway, Gerald 499 said, it was great meeting at Bravo Andy last night. I have always supported my wife and children being on the show, as well as them filming in our home. I will continue to support her. And Shamia goes up under there and says, thanks, babe. Last night was a time. Now, he still didn't address why she didn't have a peach before now. I understand what you're saying, Gerald. I get it. But Andy said the real reason why you didn't have a peach before now is because you didn't want to film in the house. Hey, Queen Script, good evening. Good evening to you guys. Yes. So, child, I don't think Shamia is going to get away with this one. I believe that Shamia probably should stop arguing and calling her boss a lie with, inadvertently calling her boss a lie. Because one thing I know for sure is that you actually, again, have to have those legals where they sign off allowing you to film in the home, because you are going to be taking pictures of their items, photos, and furniture and things in the house, and they have to have you sign off of that, as well as NDAs, to make sure that you don't disclose any of the information that they talk about. So I thought that was super interesting. Also, let me tell y'all this. So in July of 2017, around the time of Shamia and Gerald's wedding, Straight from the A, which is a blog written by Miss Michelle A.T. Alien Brown, reported that Shamia had been offered a peach for season 10, but she turned it down after discussing it with her soon-to-be husband, Gerald. Now, if you know, then you know that Michelle and Shamia have a relationship outside of the blogs and everything else that goes in Atlanta. They're friends, and Michelle has made no bones about saying that she's down for anything Shamia, right? She's team Shamia. But I'm gonna say this again. In July of 2017, around the time of Shamia and Gerald's wedding, Straight from the A reported that Shamia had been offered a peach for season 10, but turned it down after discussing it with her soon-to-be husband, Gerald, which I believe this was the first time she had been offered a peach. The report specifically says there was no Bravo cameras at the wedding because she declined the full-time role. This is significant because it puts Gerald and the camera issue years before season 16. This is what it says. It said, and I just really feel like Shamia going after Porsha just was not it for her. It just did not give her, it didn't show her in a good light. It did not make her look likable. Because again, I like Shamia. Hey, best friends. I was excited to see her joining the show. When she came on, she said she was the glue that kept the group together. And Shamia has a group of friends, but we're going to call wrong and right. And so the thing is if your friend is not the total reason why you didn't have a peach earlier, why was that the reason that you kept coming on camera saying so? I don't get it. Maybe you guys can help me. We could talk about it in the comment section, but I just found it awfully weird. I found it awfully weird that she would make it Porsha's fault when in all actuality she was married to a man who just don't want to be on camera, and it's okay. He don't have to be on camera. And not only that, I want some of y'all to just explain to me how you can make sense of Shamia having an issue with Porsha, but dragging her mama. I want y'all to talk. I want y'all to tell me about that, because that one I don't get either. I don't know how you can have an issue with me, but you reach out and touch my mama. That's like you fighting me. You mad at me, but instead of fighting me, you fight my mama. I don't know. Somebody tell me, because to me that's weird. That is weird behavior, and Chad, I don't get down with it. Anyway, let's move right along. Last night on TMZ, let me put my fair use disclaimer because I just be running my mouth. Some material in this video is used under U.S. Copyright Fair Use Section 107 for purposes such as commentary, criticism, news reporting, and education. I'm just doing a little bit of commentary, a little criticism, honey. Whole lot of criticism. I'm gonna say a whole lot of criticism, because I found that this was super interesting. So last night I was laying in my bed, minding my business, and I thought that I would, scroll through and see what they talk about on the blogs. All right. So TMZ reported Porsha Williams sweeps divorce battle, secures deed to multi-million-dollar home. Now let's talk about this. We need to talk about it, because I think it's important that we, as consumers of this world, people, homeowners, wives, women who have prenups, or women who are married to men who are the primary breadwinner and the primary source of income in our homes, that we are aware of what can happen that goes along with just being married to someone or knowing someone. Lymphomesis, I think, is a lot more than what we see. Of course, not mamas should be off limits, regardless, unless they're there to defend themselves. I totally agree with that. And here's the next thing too. Y'all out here calling Miss Diane all kinds of sluts and whores and bitchs, all kinds of things. And this lady has been non-problematic on the show. None. Again, I told y'all, Cardell got on here and said the mom was sitting in the chair eating pizza, in his white chairs eating pizza. But Cardell had an issue with, allegedly, with Porsha's mama just even being there. In fact, one by one, Porsha said he didn't want any of her family at her house. And I believe it, because he was controlling. But moving right along. So again, Porsha Williams sweeps divorce battle, secures deed to multi-million-dollar home. So let's read this article. This was published yesterday at 4:30 p.m., baby. It says, huge win for Porsha Williams. She scored a 7-figure divorce settlement in the house from her ex, Simon Guobadia. And she told a judge he agreed to quickly pay up the other money he owes, TMZ learned. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, Porsha says Simon transferred his interest in the Atlanta mansion they once shared to Porsha through a quit claim deed. Porsha says Simon also agreed Porsha is entitled to $1,568,181.61 in reimbursement from his share of the property's equity, and further agreed to give Porsha the title to a 2021 Rolls-Royce Ghost. Under the agreement, Porsha says she has full authority to refinance the home or sell it in a commercially reasonable manner without Simon or an arbitrator being involved. The doc says Porsha and Simon confirmed the settlement terms under oath during an August 5th hearing. So that means they went to court on Wednesday. This past Wednesday, they were in court. Of course, we know Simon isn't allowed back in the United States, so he had to do it through Zoom or some type of telecommunication. Telling the judge the agreement resolved all of the remaining issues. In her filing, Porsha pointed out Simon already agreed to the terms of the consent order. The former couple married in November 2022, but Porsha filed for divorce in February 2024 after just 15 months of marriage. Put the champagne on ice, is what TMZ said. So, child, I went on down there and I was looking around because I wanted to know more information. I felt like it was worth knowing more information about this, right? So I want y'all to really understand what this actually means for Porsha, right? Because I don't think it's as simple as we think it is. Hey, Sunny Ray, good evening. Good evening. Happy Saturday evening to you. I don't think this is as simple as we would probably want it to be when it comes down to, yay, Porsha wins, but Porsha wins at a cost. I'll put it that way. She wins at a cost. Porsha scored a major victory in her divorce settlement. She secured the full ownership of the multi-million-dollar Atlanta mansion. But remember that home, although she secured the quit claim deed, he signed that over to Porsha, the mortgage is still in Simon's name, which the bank They don't care who's on the deed. They're gonna go after who got the credit. So they would go after Simon because the loan was in Simon's name. But we're not gonna move too fast. She also got the Rolls Royce Ghost and over 1.5 million in equity reimbursements. So we know that Simon was ordered to pay Porsha I think 40,000 a month. And then with that 40,000, he was supposed to be paying the upkeep and the mortgage on the house, which he did not do. So all of that, once they calculated up with the judge or whatever and signed the agreement, it all came out to $1.5 million, right? So let's talk about it. Simon, he transferred his interest in the marital estate via quitclaim deed, not a quick, but a quit. QUIT claim deed, granting Porsha Williams full rights to sell or refinance the property. So regardless of Porsha getting the deed in her name, Porsha still has to fulfill the terms of her prenuptial agreement, which means she has to either refinance or sell the home by February of next year, February 2027, because she got 36 months in the house. Right? Okay. Financial payout. Williams is entitled to, I told you, $1,568,181.63. Right? In equity reimbursements for her from her ex-husband from his share of the home. So that amount of money, whatever she sells the house for, his portion, because they have to divide the equity in the house 50%. Here's the thing, is that liens have to be satisfied. The mortgage holder has to be satisfied, and the people who have liens, they have to be satisfied too, right? So if someone owes you money, let's say Jobo Blue owes you $50,000 and they never paid you and they own a home, you can put a lien on their property that they can't do anything with that house until you're paid, even after they are gone on to see Jesus. No one in their family can do anything with that house until you're paid, because you now become a part of their estate. Okay? So that 1.5 million, almost 1.6, is going to come from Simon's share, right? So I really want to explain this where we can understand it. So again, like I said, Porsha has to abide by the prenuptial agreement, and because of the recent settlement, actually enforces and finalizes the terms laid out in the prenup. So in the prenup, it said that Simon would sign the house over to Porsha, and she would decide what would happen to the house. Porsha saw what Simon did to Fallon, and she was like, I'm not gonna be that person. She did great with her prenup. So remember that. Initially, Simon fought to overturn the prenup, but the court ruled it valid and legally binding. So we do know that every time Simon has gone to court, he's lost. He's not won anything, right? He has lost, and the judge decided to let Porsha remain in the home. So when Kelly was over there screaming out, you paying Simon's bills, yada, yada, yada. Actually, Porsha was paying her bills as well as Simon's bills. She has a stake in that home. So her saying, you're over there paying Simon's bills. Yes, because I got 50% of this equity in this house, and I want to protect my investment. So I think that's only fair. And this is what this is what old Kelly be doing all the time anyway. Porsha. That's all she think about is Porsha. Anyway, the prenup dictated that Porsha could live in the house, but eventually had to buy out Simon's 50% equity share or sell the property. So that's where we're at now. She either has to buy him out, which means she would have to get another loan, and that loan will be a jumbo loan, because she wouldn't just be refinancing the home. She would have to add in whatever she owed Simon, minus his liens, because that comes out of his share, minus that 1.5, 600 and whatever thousand, 1 million, whatever that is, plus his liens, that would come out of his share of the money. I don't think Simon really cares, because he can't come back to the United States. So if he makes a couple of hundred thousands out of this, I don't think Simon cares either way it goes. Again, because he can't come back to the United States and get the house. it says that the recent deed transfers transfer allows Porsha to fulfill this requirement by giving her sole authority to refinance the home into her name. The settlement effectively cuts their remaining financial ties. So now they have nothing left to argue about, talk about, discuss. Everything. This is it. It's over. Simon himself confirmed that the deed transfer was a legal requirement under the prenup to completely remove his name from the mortgage and liabilities. So the mortgage, far as we know, the mortgage has not been refinanced, but she has all the paperwork in place so she can go out and refinance it. He can't refinance it. She has to do this, okay? The outcome of the lengthy legal battle has generated strong consensus among fans across social media, which is the crazy part, because I've heard all kinds of stories today. So Simon claimed that Porsha inherited an $8 million debt. So I want to explain that to you. Let me see if I can put it on the screen. He said they forgot to mention they also inherited $8 million in debt and still got to pay me. Being debt free is my flex, right? But hold your horses, Simon. So what Simon is saying, and he actually broke this down in a couple of interviews he did. He said that the mortgage on the house was a little less than $20,000 a month, right? He said, but to maintain the home, landscape, pool, the maids, and all the other things they have going on in the house, he said it roughly cost him between $25,000 and $30,000 a month just to maintain the home. So because she took full sole responsibility for the remaining mortgage balance, upkeep, expenses, and various legal liens attached to their multi-million-dollar mansion, that is what he's talking about when it comes to the $8 million in debt, right? Now I'm going to tell you what I think Porsha's going to do. I think Porsha is probably going to sell and take her equity and whatever he owes her and buy something else. As soon as the media reported Porsha's massive divorce victory, Simon took to his Instagram stories to spin the narrative, writing, they forgot to mention they also inherited $8 million in debt, still got to pay me, being debt free is my flex. The mortgage and carrying the cost. The Atlanta mansion is valued at several millions of dollars. By signing over his interest via quit claim deed, Simon shifted 100% of the massive financial liability, although she's been paying for this. He hasn't been paying for nothing, but he actually shifted the liability off of him and over to Porsha. Now, he still has that mortgage sitting in his lap until she refinances. It said, including the substantial outstanding mortgage note and the property maintenance, he pushed all that over to Porsha. Due to the contentious nature of their divorce, multiple liens have been placed on that home, right? Including a recent $205,000 lien that was triggered by his unpaid legal fees, Simon's unpaid legal fees. So I believe the liens all equaled up to like $258,000 altogether, right? So if he owes her 1.5, whatever, then you tack that on, we're already decreasing what his equity is going to be. He's probably going to get a few million, but he ain't going to get a whole lot, right? Because I believe, again, that Porsha's going to sell this house. Porsha now has to absorb or clear these debts to protect the property, right? Under the prenup, Porsha cannot simply live in the house for free. She is legally forced to refinance the home completely into her own name to remove Simon from loan liabilities. And Simon argues that taking on these multi-million-dollar banking commitments means she took on debt, not just an asset, is what he's saying. Despite her win, Simon claims that the final numbers require Porsha to pay out certain financial balances to him as they cut ties. So again, 50% of the equity, she gets 50, he gets 50. That equals 100% share. But out of his 50, he has to pay her 1.5 mil. He also has to pay all of those liens that are on those houses. On that house, because those are his liens that would come out of his equity. That's how that works. It doesn't come out of both of their shares. It comes out of his share. He didn't say all that. But that's that 1.5 and whatever he owes in liens will come out of his share, Whatever, if it's a lien for him riding on a truck, that's going to come out of his share. Ultimately, Simon is trying to convince fans that walking away from the property allows him to leave the United States completely debt-free, following his immigration issues and deportation, while Porsha is left holding the bag on a heavy leveraged estate. So I wanted to know, what is the balance? Because we know the house is worth roughly about $7.5 million, and looks like he financed roughly about $5 million, right? But he got to that $7 million by adding in operation costs, things that steep overheads. I'm sure he was paying high dollar for people to come out there and do the pool, landscaping, gardeners, and what have you. Probably maids and so on and so forth. The home itself is valued roughly at $7.3 million, meaning the principal loan balance sits right near that $5 million mark, right? So $5 million to 7.3 leaves a $2.3 million equity, right? That has to be divided in half. The cost of interest, because she is forced by the prenup to refinance a $5 million super jumbo mortgage into her name solely, the lifetime interest accrued over a lifespan of the new loan will probably push it up to $8 billion, if not more. And then it says running a 5-bedroom, 8-bath estate comes with a rumored mortgage payment of roughly $35,000 a month, which is a lot of money. Atlanta property taxes, resort pool upkeep, massive utility bills, because I can only imagine what her light bill and gas bill run out there. So one thing that I wanted to know about was she said that it allowed her to sell the house commercially. So what that really means is that she can sell it without having to go through the courts, have an arbitrator or Simon there. She has right to hire a real estate agent to set a sign in the yard and do what they need to do without any cause of retribution or anybody else being involved. So Porsha posted the deed is done, baby. It's done. And she's done, but of course, Simon still got something to say. She said every time he talk about her that, her hair products sell like crazy. But what do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about Porsha Williams getting the quit claim deed and the car, and looks like she's winning. I just hope that she makes the right decision when it comes down to what she's going to do with the house. I don't want her to go in debt. And shout out to No Chaser for this photo. I don't want her to go in debt trying to save that house. It's a lot of house, and it's only her and Pilar. And I watched a video earlier today. I don't even know how I scrolled up on it. And it was saying where Simon was telling Porsha that he didn't want to move into her Duluth mansion or to her home, because he said, someone else had already, just like she didn't want to move into his home because she felt like someone else had already lived there. He kind of felt the same way. So I think that is something to always think about. Porsha is thinking that, she get a house, she can move someone into it, but Porsha probably just needs to worry about Porsha and Pilar. Sell that house, girl, buy you another house of modest means, a couple of mil, maybe $3 million, and you'll be just fine. And you'll probably be able to find something just like Candy did. Candy got a steal with her house over there in Buckhead. So I think that it can be done. You just got to do the homework and get it done. But Porsha has a battle ahead of her, whether or not she's going to refinance or whether or not she's going to sell. I'm curious to see what she's going to do. I really am curious to see what she's going to do. But good luck. Good luck, Porsha. Live for Me said, I hope the money and PPWK is real. I don't know what that means. What is PPWK, girl? I don't know what PPWK is. Anyway, you guys, I want to thank you for coming down here and listening to me run my mouth. I don't know if I'm trying to get sick, but all of a sudden my sinuses started feeling congested, but it is night, and that's normally what happens at night. I get congested. Anywho, I appreciate you guys for coming down, listening to me run my mouth. Tell me let's get in the comment section and continue this conversation. Do you think Porsha should sell the house? Do you think, the paperwork. Okay. You hope the paperwork is real. It's real because they had a court date on the 5th. Judges ain't fit to sign off on no fake bullswag. And he also said that he did it. He said he did give her the quit claim deed. He said he was fulfilling his portion of the prenup. So that is what it is. Let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Do you want to Do you think Porsha should sell? If you think she should sell, tell me why you think so. Do you think Porsha should keep the house and refinance it? If you think that, tell me why you think so. Also, let's talk about Shamia. Do you think Shamia talking about Porsha not wanting her on the show was fair when in all actuality, Andy, and she has said herself that Gerald never wanted to film. We also have in 2017, where Straight from the A put it in their blog that Shamia did not want, because she had spoke with her soon-to-be husband at that time and decided that she didn't want to peach, so they didn't film her wedding. So, tell me what you think about that. Do you think it's fair that she's putting a lot of blame on Porsha for Porsha not wanting her on the show and her husband didn't want her? I don't know. I just feel like that's odd. I think let me tell you what I think. I really think Shamia is the ultimate housewife, right? When you think of a housewife, you want to think of that lady who's rich, husband got money, husband can take care of her, a husband can, wine and dine her, make her feel like a natural woman. Hey, Susie. So those are the things that you really think about when I think of a housewife, right? So Shamia's husband is worth a lot of millions, not a couple. He's worth a lot of millions. So I would think with someone with the net worth that Shamia's husband has would be showing us the fine. Take us shopping. Now K Michelle said every time she talked to you at the mall, why you ain't take us to the mall, girl? You could took us to the mall. You could have showed us the finer things at the mall, but you didn't do that. You could have took us to hang out with your rich girlfriends to be playing tennis. Or do you not have the girls be playing tennis, all your girlfriends working like Candy out here hustling for that money? Porsha out here working for that money. You're a housewife. And you said the most thing you have to worry about is getting to the Chick-fil-A line before breakfast closes. That's what you should have been showing us. But instead, you chose the dusty road of fighting with Porsha. The dusty road of fighting with Angela over her feet. I don't even know why you and Angela fighting anymore. Why y'all fighting? Is it because Angela went back and told Porsha you was talking about her? Tell us why y'all was fighting, because I'm confused again. You fight with Drew. You have fought with K Michelle. So I guess the only person you hadn't fought with this season is Pinky and Kelly. I think those are the only two people you haven't fought with this season. And you said you feel like everybody has been getting on to you, but I just wonder, you fighting with Porsha, but you reach out and hit her mama. I don't get that, girl. How you swinging on Porsha, but you reach over and hit Miss Diane? Somebody explain it to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I don't want to hear that all is fair in love and war, because this ain't no war and this ain't love. Stupid. It's immature. It's childish. And then she said, oh, my mom felt a certain type of way. I really, like I said before when I was reviewing this channel, I believe your mama put that battery in your back in Scotland. And that's what made you get out there and talk about Miss Diane. I truly believe that. I ain't gonna change it. I may be wrong, but I truly believe that. You said Shamia said anybody can get it. Shaking my head. Girl, apparently so. Because you swinging on me and you hit my mama. Now we really fist to fight. We fist to scrap. We're going to tear up the building. We're going to tear up some things. Yes, we are. So anywho, you guys, I want to talk about that in the comment section. So let's do so. And I guess I'm done. I've talked about the two things I want to talk about tonight. Tomorrow is the beginning of the reunion of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know if y'all ready, but I'm ready. I'm ready to see what the ladies are going to be talking about. I had saw this little clip. Let me see if I can find it real quick of old crazy K Michelle talking about Porsha. Child, I thought this was wild, and I'm gonna talk on it. Let me see. Does this pop up? Yeah, it does. Okay. Let me put my overlay up for you guys, and then we're gonna We're gonna listen to this and I'm gonna give a little commentary. We're gonna get up out of here. This is part of the reunion. I'm not sure if they're gonna show this tomorrow or will this be shown another night. Well, let's listen.
And I know that someone was in the room that you had an encounter with, I would have said to you, hey, I don't know what y'all got going on, but that man is a messy bitch. And we see that. When it comes to this man, he was never in the crossfire of us whatsoever. Like nothing. You don't know me.
K. Michelle in this conversation about, what was that dude's name? Sassy? I don't know what his name was. But it's so moot. It's just ignorant. Let's keep listening.
At all, I was trying to get to know you. How are you wanting to know me? And you're having me sit around and you're dealing with a man. Stop saying dealing with a man like you think she's saying dealing with black.
Yeah, stop saying dealing with a man, because Porsha said she wasn't dating a man and you married. K. Michelle, what's wrong? Girl, come lay your head right here and tell me what's wrong, baby, because that ain't right. That ain't making no sense right now.
Which K. Michelle am I talking to? There's probably about 4. Let me pick.
She even said she got 4 different personalities. So, child, we trying to figure out which one we're talking to right now.
More K. Michelle's than that. That one that we even have one on the line that says me in an interview.
Okay.
You heard.
We do know that K. Michelle does get on Twitter and it looks like these women. Porsha said she texts K. Michelle after she realized that K. Michelle felt away. She said she thought she cleared it up, and as soon as she hung up the phone, K. Michelle went to Twitter and said, F Porsha.
About it. Oh, well, okay, let it go. She like, I'm gonna keep my eye on her. I said, okay. So then I text you right away, and I said, hey, please let me reiterate. I never meant to.
So now K. Michelle want to correct it, iterate. Because Porsha said reiterate. Child, Southern Draw is going to say it any kind of way. And K. Michelle should be the last person to correct somebody on their verbiage with all the words she be using. Her, baby, that's one of my pet. I do not like the word her. My kids be talking to me, they be like, girl, and her. I'm like, her.
Insult you. I never meant to hurt you. I would have never used miscarriage against you. You said, okay, girl, I'm so glad. Thanks for retelling me. Then your ass go right back online again. Like I said, bitch, you almost died. Who am I dealing with here?
Man, I say Porsha, I believe, ate her up there, and I believe with good reasoning. K. Michelle, she be tripping. She be tripping. You said that man shouldn't have even been a topic of discussion, especially being a newly married woman. Exactly, living for me. What in the world? And then, she made a comment that Caston could, they could have a threesome. He could be with another woman. And then when they went down there to do that yoga, Caston wouldn't even shake the lady hand because he said he want K. Michelle to fight him. I think K. Michelle be talking out both sides of her throat. Like Porsha said, which K. Michelle am I talking to? Child. Anywho, y'all, I hope you guys have had a great Saturday. Thanks for coming down here and listening to me run my mouth. And if no one told you today that they love you, I love you. And there ain't a thing you can do about it. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure y'all watch Real Housewives of Atlanta tomorrow. And we're going to get down here and talk about it. And reunion is going to be a 3-part reunion. Part 1 is tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching.